I'm a badass blind babe. My name is Jessie Wolinsky. I am 30 years old. The impairment that I have is called retinitis pigmentosa. So that slowly causes blindness over time. I have absolutely no nighttime vision, and my vision is kind of tunneling in slowly like this until one day I won't have any vision left. I right now have about this level of vision, but my remaining vision isn't very clear. It's a little bit blurry. I need things in big font, but there are also so many other different types of retinal degenerative diseases that cause blindness. And of course, people can become blind from accidents. Some people are born blind. There's so many different ways that people can experience blindness. Like I said, I personally experienced retinitis pigmentosa. I was diagnosed when I was 7 years old, and I became legally blind about maybe 3 or 4 years ago. One big stigma that the blind community faces is this idea that you are either 100% sighted or 100% sightless, which is just not the case. There's a very popular phrase, blindness is a spectrum. So you could line up 50 people with my same condition and we would all have different levels of vision. So my specific gene that causes my retinitis pigmentosa is fortunately more slow going than others, but there are different genes that can cause people to lose their sight entirely within 5 years or 10 years or 20 years. So it really does depend on the gene that you have. But there are so many other different types of diseases that kind of do the opposite. For example, Stargardt's, people lose their central vision and they still have peripheral vision, where in my case, I have no peripheral vision and just a small amount of central vision. I don't know what typically sighted people see. I don't know what that type of vision is like. So for me at that age, I thought that I had normal vision just because I didn't know what it would be like to have any other type of vision. But then I do remember when I was about 14 years old, that's when my parents really sat me down and told me the gravity of the situation. I would always be going to eye doctors and, was just young and whatever, get these tests, and I didn't really think too much of it. But then at 14 is when they really told me, okay, like you have this very serious eye condition that will cause you to go completely blind one day. So that obviously impacted a lot in my life. I was never able to drive or anything like that. So it was quite a shock at that age. Being a teenager is hard enough, but dealing with something like that was kind of crazy. It kind of felt like my life had ended, up to that point. I was just kind of a happy-go-lucky kid who had all these envisions about my future, and after that, I really truly felt like there was no way that I would be able to have any sort of life after that. I think within a year, maybe a year and a half after they told me that, I got into drinking and drugs and I was self-mutilating. I really truly found a lot of comfort in suicidal ideations and suicidal thoughts. And I kind of came up with this plan at 14 years old that I would kill myself when I started losing more vision. So it rocked my whole world, definitely turned everything that I knew completely upside down. And it's been a long journey to get to where I am now, of trying to, find happiness in my life. the most positive thing that has come from this disability is recognizing how little looks are. You know, I think that we grow up in a world, especially women, we have so many things pushed on us about how we need to look and how our body needs to look, and just, you know, all these different things in terms of our value and our appearance being so linked. And I think going blind, it's really flipped that on its head for me, because one day I'm not going to be able to see what I look like. So why am I spending so much time now with the vision that I do have, stressing out about my appearance or not posting this picture because I have a wrinkle or a double chin or like whatever it is? You know, it's allowed me to be a little bit more free with my appearance. And it's a process, trust me. Like, all of this stuff is so internalized from the time that we're like so young, seeing these magazines and all this stuff. But I really am having a much healthier view on it and recognizing how much value there is in kind of letting go of needing to look perfect. And it's really good. The worst part is losing like my sense of independence. So I've never been able to drive. It's tricky for me to get around. Being night blind, I feel very anxious in dark situations. Obviously, as a woman, we have to be aware of people trying to attack us. And I've had people, you know, do some unfortunate things to me and take advantage of me. And it's very, very scary. So in that sense, not feeling like I can be as independent and not feeling like I can quite literally watch my own back, it does get very nerve-wracking in that sense. And I have to constantly let go of things. So like a couple years ago, I could read books. Now I can't read any sort of regular size print. So I listen to audiobooks, or I have large print books or Braille books or things like that. I'm constantly letting go of things that I used to be able to do. So that is, it's a very, very hard practice to learn how to accept that. I got a comment on one of my videos and it said that I was inadequate. They were like, you are, I don't know if it was about me being a partner or something like that, but it was like, yeah, you are inadequate. Like, people will have to take care of you. Like, you know, and just that word inadequate, like that's just been sticking in my head since I read that comment, like maybe a couple weeks or a month ago. I can definitely ruin my own day all by myself. I don't need help from anyone on the internet telling me I'm inadequate. I have to constantly bring myself out of that headspace every day of feeling like I'm less than, or feeling like my life is worse than others. People believe what they want to believe. But yeah, I just try to not take it personally and try to use every single one of those interactions as a chance to educate people on the reality of blindness, and that it is a spectrum, and that you don't need to look a certain way in order to have a certain condition. You know, there are blind people who can see, there are deaf people who can hear, there are wheelchair users who can walk. You know, nothing is so black and white. I would say the best thing about it, the thing that I'm just so happy about, and the thing that I've really embraced in recent years, is I love it because it allows me to be different. Like, I have worked so hard to get to a positive place in my life where I don't view this as a setback. I really truly view it as something that helps the world. Like, me just walking down the street with my cane is a powerful statement, and it confuses people, and they don't, you know, and they're not used to seeing like a blind person walking around or doing certain things. I'd like to travel, and so it definitely can get a lot of attention in that sense. And I love that I'm able to be different and kind of use this as a way to help other people maybe accept the things about themselves that they don't love, or the things about themselves that society have told them is wrong or is bad or whatever it is. You know, I really, really like being someone who's different and getting to use this condition to find empowerment within myself and hopefully empower and inspire some other people to love themselves a little bit more. I think this world needs it. So it's very, very cool what I've been able to do with this disability. Now that my vision has gotten so bad, my hearing, I don't know if there's a constant like battle of being like, okay, well, is our hearing better because our eyesight is worse? Like people say, oh, your other senses are heightened. And I don't know if they're necessarily heightened. I just think that I'm used to relying on my hearing to get information more than the average person, you know? So I'm just used to using my hearing to get that information. So I can definitely eavesdrop on a lot more people now. And so that's kind of fun. I kind of have to like tell myself in public, I'm like, oh my gosh, stop listening to their conversation. Like it's not your business. But like sometimes I just can't help it.